Hi.
Hi.
Adjusting.
Hi again.
Ah. So we went and saw a movie.
We saw Dracula.
Untold.
It was very told. They told us the whole movie.
Yeah. It was,
I still don't understand that title.
Neither do I. But maybe since it's the untold story of Dracula.
As in never been made up before story.
Yeah. Like a whole different version.
I guess in that regard it works, but I still don't get it.
Yeah.
The sequel, Dracula Told.
God, that was fucking awful.
Dracula 3, still telling it.
Dracula 4. I done told you already.
I done told you. Dracula 5, run tell that. It's not good.
No.
It's not a good movie.
Yeah, I couldn't come off of Dracula 6.
Yeah, I'm out of them too. Dracula 6, run tell it on the mountain.
Ooh, I like that.
There's a mountain in this one, so it makes sense. So, yeah, this is a series of really dumb ideas put together to make a really dumb movie.
Yeah.
It's basically someone sat down at a table and thought to themselves, I really, really, really like this whole Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But
Ned Stark was missing one thing. One thing Ned Stark was missing.
all the powers of the dark arts. That's what it was. I forgot. I really liked his character, except for the fact he couldn't turn into fucking bats. Like, there's a whole fucking gaggle of them.
Just lots of bats.
Is that like the plural of bats? A gaggle?
I don't know that a gaggle.
I know that applies to geese.
Yeah.
A pod of bats.
I think that's
whales.
yeah.
Shit.
Murder of bats.
Mm-hmm. Similar, but
Yeah.
crows.
Crows. Okay.
A fuckload of bats. He turns into a fuckload of bats.
I think that's a scientific term.
Yeah. Which the turning.
Can't stop laughing about how dumb this fucking movie was.
I love it. He can turn into bats and like a fuckload of them, which I like because, you know. All right, I get it, magic and shit, but come on, at least like follow some sort of like yeah, alchemy. It's not really science, but it has something. Equivalent exchange. He's X amount, and he's turning into like a bat. No, X amount
of bats,
but turns into X amount of bats. Okay, I'm behind you on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes like bats, but then it's like 5 minutes to condense back into a person. Like at one point he was standing there like a person getting ready to do something, but he was still waiting for his arms to form. But at least his clothes also turn into bats.
Yeah, that's
like apparently if you're a vampire, anything you're wearing at that particular moment
it's part of you.
Possesses all of the qualities of being a vampire. So like if your clothes get into direct sunlight, they will also burn.
Or if there's a stake coming at your heart, your armor will make way for it.
Yeah, which seems like a really dumb idea.
But why wear fucking armor?
So yeah, this is basically Dracula if he lived in fucking Winterfell.
It's a whole lot of walking on the fucking King's Road in this movie.
I swear to God, if that wasn't the actual King's Road, then they spent fucking time finding a road that looked just like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a Dracula movie where Dracula gets to be the hero.
Yes, he becomes a vampire to protect his people.
And to save his son.
Even though he's still, in this movie, he is Vlad the Impaler, but, you know, he's an all-around nice guy. Because Vlad the Impaler was an all-around nice guy.
It's a stand-up chap.
Yeah. Loving, caring, a defender of his people.
Plays with his kids.
Yeah.
Let's take him horseback riding. But he's got to go to church, so I mean,
Yeah.
that had to be put on hold.
Wants to be a pacifist really badly.
Prays daily.
Oh, yes.
Hell, owns a monastery.
Yeah.
I like how he's the prince of this country that he rules, and apparently his father was the king, but his father is now dead.
So, but he's still the
But he's still just the prince. I don't fully understand that. Unless, is his dad still alive somewhere?
No, I think they stuck with Prince so he could be the Prince of Darkness.
Well, I see where they're going with that. Technically, he should be the king of darkness due to how this shit works. I mean...
Yeah. This whole movie's full of... Dude, come on. You know that's not the least logical part of this fucking movie. Besides,
it's the part that hung me up for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Eh.
Yeah.
No, it's just,
It's goddamn... There's so much stupid shit in this movie.
Yeah.
Besides the whole character portrayal, which... It's like... Let him be fucking evil. Just make... Why does he have to be a hero?
Well, even at the end, when he seems like he's doing like some villainous things, he's doing it to really bad people. So he still comes across as the anti-hero of the thing.
Yeah.
It's like saying that Dexter's a villain. Well, yeah, I mean, technically he's a villain, but he kills people who are worse than him, so
Yeah.
I guess that's okay. But yeah, and even then, like, he's very remorseful of it. Like, he'll, like, twist a guy's head around backwards and stab him with his own sword in the throat. And then he'll kind of, like, wince, like, oh, I'm sorry. And then
stare off into the middle distance.
Yeah, and then go off and do it to somebody else. Like, you don't feel too fucking bad about it, but you still, like, you're keeping up appearances with that one, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's just, it's a weird thing, especially, like, with the fact, like, it's made by Universal, the people who technically, I guess, own Dracula. I don't even know.
Nobody owns Dracula.
But, like, when you think of Dracula, like, your mind, unless you grew up, like, in the UK, in which case your mind goes to Christopher Lee and Hammer horror and stuff like that, which I'm still not unconvinced that Christopher Lee is actually Dracula.
He might be. I mean, it's amazing that man hasn't aged in 30 years. But yeah, I mean, the Universal monster movies, yeah, and Universal is trying to reboot that as a shared universe franchise, and that's cool.
Which, if all the monsters are going to be heroes like this, they're basically working on rebuilding the Monster Squad, but like the Avengers.
Which I would be down for if they did a Monster Squad series of movies like that, but no. It's raining and Brad's gonna hate the raindrops, but I'm not moving the fucking car.
Yeah, you guys will just have to deal with it.
Yeah, sorry. And it's no offense to you, I mean, but I don't want to move the car right now. It's a pain in the ass.
It's oddly relaxing, though.
I know, I'm feeling very calm.
Because, yeah, our movie, like, it was dumb. Like, it basically tries to do everything it can to make Dracula the good guy. Like, he's doing all of this for his family, to, like, save his kid, because when he was a kid, he was, like, abducted and forced to be, like, a child soldier in the Turkish army. And then after he finally got free from that, he was, put back into his place as Prince of Transylvania. And now the Turks have come back saying that they need kids again for more, child wars. And, he basically says, like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And they're like, okay, well, we still need all those kids, but now we need your kid, too. He's like, well, fuck, I'm really not gonna do that. So he kills a bunch of them. And then they just decide to, all right, well, let's just take over Transylvania since you won't give us your children. So, and then it just becomes a pissing contest because they went there to get 1,000 boys. And then, as soon as Dracula gets his powers, which takes like 5 minutes, literally, like he decides, like, it's like, I think I know a way to stop them. and then rides off to this mountain, climbs it, and then comes back down with superpowers. He then proceeds to massacre about 1,000. Did you like my Dracula there?
Yeah.
I've been working on it. You just have to like grizzly whisper, but sound like it's really urgent.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes down and immediately massacres like 1,000 Turks.
Yeah.
At which point they went there for 1,000 boys, and now they're leaving with 1,000 dead men. Do you think you'd cut and run? But no, now it's just like a pissing contest. Like the Sultan of Turkey, Sultan Dominic Cooper, who at this point, I mean, he is going out of his way to become like the new John Rhys Davies. Like,
and why not? Why not?
You need him to play Uday Hussein? He's got you. You need him to play Howard Stark? He's got you. Some fucking like weird, like, I don't know if he was Russian or like Irish or what the fuck he was. I can't remember. Mobster and like Dead Man Down. He's got you.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You need him to play a sultan from Turkey. He's got you. Just bronze him up, flare his mustache a little bit, give him some fucking eyeliner. Boom, he's Turkish. So he's one of those people. I have no idea what ethnicity he is. I mean, based off the name,
fine.
I would figure probably like Irish or something. I don't know. But I've seen him play everything except for black at this point. And you know what?
Time.
Yeah, I'm not going to rule that out. I'm not going to rule that out.
Robert Downey Jr. did it. He can do it too.
If Gene Wilder can do it.
And this is one of those movies where, like, my main problems weren't with any of the performances. It was just how goddamn fucking ridiculous it is. Because, okay, so he kills 1,000 people with his vampire superpowers, and goes back, tells all of his people, don't ask what happened, we're going to the monastery.
Don't ask what's happened here this night.
Yeah. We're going to the monastery. So, like, in fucking, what, Lord of the Rings 2, where they're taking everybody to fucking Helm's Deep, they have that pilgrimage, but he's only got his powers for 3 days!
Kind of puts a little time limit on that. See, there's a little qualifier here. When you get your powers from the Dark Lord, he gives you like 3 days.
It's a trial.
A test drive.
It's like BMG. Like, you get 10 CDs, but you gotta order more, or you gotta return them.
And if at the end of these 3 days, he can keep 3 days, that's all he has to do. Just keep from, like, drinking blood. He's golden, and like the dark powers vanish, and he goes back to just being a guy who murders a shitload of people without superpowers.
Yes.
So not much changing. He just can turn into fewer bats.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he gets his nice timer, but then it basically says like, okay, now I have to defeat the entire Turkish army
in 3 nights.
Oh,
and move all his people across the countryside.
Yeah, because like during the whole like pilgrimage to, you know, Helm's Deep that we have going on here,
that takes 1 night.
It takes an entire day, and during that day, he has to just sit in a tent because he can't go anywhere because they decided to camp on a fucking hill. So he can't even leave. I mean, technically he could. I don't know what approximation...
The rules of sunlight in this movie vary wildly from scene to scene.
Yeah, I don't know what the approximation is from when it's okay and when it's not okay. Like, if he's wearing clothes and he steps out into the sunlight, it starts like the clothes start sizzling off of him too. But if he's standing behind a thin layer of cloth that's not touching him, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, they could have carried his ass in like a sedan chair, and he would have been okay. Or hired someone else to hold a blanket over him. Like, it's like, it's very bright out today. Could someone hold this? And he would have been fine.
An umbrella probably would have done it because he's shadow hopping in one scene.
But I don't know, like, maybe him holding the handle makes the umbrella now also flammable. I don't understand the rules.
It'll flick away.
But yeah, I mean, it goes by sort of like the, like, Angel / Buffy rules of how sunlight works is basically like, as long as you're not standing directly, like, here's the sun, boop, 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 straight line, you're fine.
Oh, and also I think it depends on how important a character you are.
Yeah. Like, if you're having dialogue, it's okay. Like, it's reflecting off of something.
Yeah.
It's fine. But then at other times, it's like, oh shit, he's like dancing around, like looking for a spot that's not lit by the sun to like hop over to. I'm like it's not gonna like burn up your boots, is it? Or will it? I don't know. It seems like sometimes it does. Silver, another one. At some points, it just kind of like sizzles. At other points, it acts like it like is like somebody branding him. At other points, it's
Makes things shiny and hard for him to see.
yeah. It makes him instantly weaker without ever telling us that that's happened.
Yeah.
That's the one that got me. Is like the end fight of this movie is him versus Dominic Cooper, and Dominic Cooper has taken his lavish tent that he has. Like, picture the Great Leslie's tent. He's got this huge tent, and he has lined the floor with silver coins. And he
They
also
all
has,
have pictures of fucking Dracula on them.
it's all the silver that he's been like sending to like the Turks for like tribute to not invade them. And then he also has bags of it hanging all over the ceiling.
It's a really elaborate trap.
It is very elaborate. Like, he had like one afternoon, like, all right, somebody tell me what you know about vampires. They don't like silver. Okay, fuck it, awesome, we got silver.
Well, and how did he find out that the silver affects him?
Apparently, it's common knowledge, despite the fact that
No one else knew what the fuck a vampire was before that?
the afternoon before Dracula turns into a vampire, he had never heard of a vampire. Like, literally that night before, he had never heard of it, and then the next day he was one. He found out that the silver thing was a thing because he's sitting there like, God, why is my hand hurting? There's like little sizzles coming off. I'm like, oh shit, my ring. Oh. But then, yeah, at other points, it's like, it'll be touching him and just like fucking like burning into his chest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, so yeah, they're fighting in this room, and all of a sudden Dominic Cooper starts like getting the other hand and is beating the piss out of him. It's like, so is he weak just because he's in a room that's got a lot of silver in it? We never covered that.
Yeah, because
no one says anything
a minute
about
ago
it.
he was running through an army with his bare hands killing hundreds of men.
Just like going like this and like tearing people's heads off.
Yeah.
And then he walks in this room and Dominic Cooper just like headbutts him and like punches him in the face. It's like, all right.
And is surprisingly cocky about fighting a monster. Like, surprisingly like, yeah, I got your ass.
Yeah.
Like, no. The empirical evidence states otherwise, God damn it. It was so they could have a fight.
Yeah, it's like they needed to have a fight. So like, if he's in a room that's full of silver, he's just as strong as a normal guy. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
You set that up and explained it after it's already started happening, so it's really confusing to us that are watching it. Like honestly, like I was really confused. I honestly thought it was going to do something like Dominic Cooper is also some sort of weird
Yeah,
thing.
I was waiting for something like, is he a fucking werewolf? Like,
It's like, oh, we've never told you the mystery of our Turkish ways. Turns out I'm a genie or something. Like I was waiting for some weird thing, or like, it's like, I've made the same deal, Dracula, fangs, or something like that. No, he's just an arrogant son of a bitch who lined an entire room with silver coins.
yeah. Yeah.
You think if he was smart, he only had an afternoon, which in this movie is more than enough time for things to happen. Like, I'm surprised he didn't have, like, sterling silver armor crafted or something like that. But he was fighting with a sterling silver sword.
Which, listen, silver is far from being the weakest metal, you know. It's having a gold sword would be much more ridiculous, but
And wildly unhandy. Like,
Yeah.
Like, the sword itself would weigh, like, 50 pounds.
yes. But yeah, it's why would he have a sterling silver sword? And because it's impractical on so many levels in metalwork. Like,
It'd be good for maybe half a battle.
Yeah.
It'd have the lifespan of like a Major League Baseball.
Exactly.
Like give it like 2 or 3 good hits, throw it the fuck away because you can't use it anymore.
You know, sterling silver is more than fine for your fancy silverware when you have party guests and shit. But if you're going into a sword fight against a guy with a steel blade, you're done. You're fucking done. And that's the other thing. Steel bends surprisingly well in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like, all swords have a little bit of play and give, and they bounce a little bit. That's the mechanics of things. But they don't just bend.
Yeah, swords break.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, no, he'll like snap a sword off of like somebody's handle. Like he'll like grab the blade, snap it off the hilt, bend it in half, and then stab somebody with both ends of it. Like so it breaks here, but in the middle it's just like it's flexy like a fucking foil.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess they just don't make them like they used to, like with rubber in the middle.
And like, you know, I get the concept of like this would be like in the writers' room being like this would be really cool to do, and I agree. Not that uncool of an idea, but like, you know, you don't do that with like just. It's one of those movies that's just like, yeah, the audience is dumb, do whatever.
Yeah, it really did feel like they basically said that it's like they'll watch whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that's as far as they went effort-wise. And the movie has really high hopes for itself because it sequel baits the fuck out of itself by
And from what I was reading, that was a late edition add-on because Universal's was hoping for like a half minute to reboot to start up their shared universe with this movie, but it wasn't originally intended to be, so I think they've written it so where they can ignore this and move on too.
But I guess if they do that, like if the movie doesn't do well, I could very easily see when they release this onto DVD, I could see them just cutting that last couple minutes off. Because I know that movies that have done that before, that have like teased sequels during the movie, and then when it hits actual like video, that's been taken off. I could easily see this being the case if this movie bombs. Which, that's the thing, is like, it's a Dracula movie. We're here in October. There's a fair chance it might actually do okay, just from all the people that'll be like it doesn't, like, it's one of those movies that, like, it doesn't matter what the critics actually say about it. People are gonna go if they're gonna go. Like, it's a Dracula movie releasing like 2 weeks away from Halloween.
But at the same, like, there's other movies that get released around Halloween that are, you know, supposed to be scary movies that don't do well at all either, I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, so far this year, like, there's not really a whole lot else out there. Like, there's Annabelle, which was dumb.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I don't, like, I know they always trying to release a couple movies that are scary movies around Halloween, but...
I mean, don't they know anything? The scary movies wait until January nowadays.
Fuck yeah.
January, the new October.
But it's just, I don't think this movie's going to do very well. It wasn't busy in there for us. The reviews are god-awful.
Yeah, but I really see this as one, like a, you know, oh my god, we should go see something scary. We should go see something scary. And girls basically just, like, it's like, we should go see something scary like Dracula. That looks so scary. And he's so handsome.
But even in the trailers, actually, there was nothing scary about this movie.
Not to make a generalization of broads there.
Way to try and make yourself not sound sexist by saying broads. Fucking asshat. No.
What's sad is the shot of us both looking happy, me giving the thumbs up will probably be the fucking, like,
it will.
The thing, like, it's
will.
like, I don't know, based on this, it looks good. They're giving it the thumbs up.
Jesus. Oh, man.
No, I mean, it's stupid as shit.
There's so much wrong with it that it's beyond ridiculous. It's, all in all, really, it's just poorly thought out storytelling, which has been the thing that's been getting me about movies lately, where, you know, I've seen some pretty atrocious movies, but just following a certain, like, create yourself a sense of logic and follow through on it, you know? It's people aren't as stupid as filmmakers seem to think.
Yeah, and that's what makes me sad about like ones like I mean, like you said, like this idea could have worked out if they'd worked with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like if they honestly, like if it hadn't been Universal and they'd had the chance to make this like an R and actually branch out and do some things with it, I think it could have had some legs to it.
With another half hour and a better director and even the directing wasn't that bad, dude.
I mean, you're working with what they give you, and Universal needing something that still at the end of the day can be vaguely construed as kid friendly, so they can make an amusement park attraction out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like stuff like this, or like again, like last week with Annabelle, like it comes down to they're just assuming that you need someone to like lead you by the hand to show you how things connect, like with Annabelle, like literally everything is the most convenient thing that could ever happen. It's like, oh man, she's getting haunted. Oh good, one of her neighbors in the building owns like an occult bookstore. Oh good, it's like the next building over from like the apartment building. Like it's crazy convenient shit like that the whole movie. It's like, oh well, that took a lot of like weird digging and searching and her having to like look in the no, she walks outside her building and looks over like, oh, a bookstore with books about devil and demons and shit in the window. Yeah. I think I'll go look.
Well, and this movie
and that's this movie's like it's like, I need a way to beat the Turks. Oh look, here's a way to beat the Turks. And then he goes and beats the Turks. I mean, it's everything falls directly in line.
Oh, and we'll give you this warning, like you have 3 days if you can not drink, but if you do, it'll destroy your family and everything you love.
But then his family gets destroyed
anyway.
At 2 days in like 23 hours and 58 minutes into this whole deal. Like everything gets destroyed. So that his whole people have been murdered. His wife is dying in his arms. And she says, like, I
want to talk about that for a
go ahead and bite.
Because that's another fine example of
superpowers again.
I think what happened was I don't think there was a second draft of this movie. Because they're like, oh, we need him to drink from somebody. Let's have him drink from his wife. Yeah, but she just fell from a 1,000-foot cliff. She'll be fine.
And she is mostly.
Yeah, not a fucking mark on her. And even though he can turn into a shitload of bats, his wife's falling, so he decides to turn into half a shitload of bats and just reach out. And not, accelerate or anything, because it's not like he has hundreds of fucking wings now.
Yeah, it's very poorly planned. Honestly, I would almost say that like that it was right up there with like they saw like an early screening of like Spider-Man 2 and the whole like race against time, like Spider-Man and Gwen falling and then oh no.
Yeah.
It was like that, except like she lays there on the ground like perfectly fine for another like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh man, that's gonna be messy, and then it goes over there and she's just laying there, she's like, oh my love, I don't have long. I'm like, you didn't have long when you started falling. Like literally 1,000 fucking feet or some shit. Like, it was insane. They were on the top of a mountain at the top of a building on the top of this mountain when she fell from like this little like observatory like lookout thing at like the top peak of this monastery built on a cliff.
How much time have we got left?
Probably not much.
We're on a timer today. We got about 6 minutes because Brad didn't charge the camera enough.
Burn. Sorry, boss.
Boss my ass. He doesn't fucking pay me.
Yeah, we only have so long to talk about. We would literally talk about this all night.
Because I think why our conversation is a little more
erratic
than usual is we know we're on a timer. So we're trying
Just
to
cover the crazy shit.
we're trying to stay focused on the movie instead of like diverging like we normally would. And so it's pressure that we're not used to.
Usually right about now, like, we'd start talking about, like, Halloween stuff, and
Yeah.
then veer off into talking about, like, the Snorks or something.
Ooh, I haven't thought about the Snorks in a while.
See? All right, there's your tangent. All right.
Snorks. Oh God, yeah. It was. Yeah, I can't say this movie was frustrating because sitting there and going, "Oh, this has potential," but they're fucking up. It was. Well, they had an idea, but you know what else? The last Dracula movie that came out that had somewhat of an original idea was Dracula 2000, which not a good movie, but like the twist in that was well thought out,
Yeah.
but still doesn't work for Dracula.
No, and this one, like, it's... Like, I know, like, the obvious joke is to be like, Dracula Untold, well, maybe it should have stayed that way. Look how fucking clever I am that I thought of that right now. But...
Oh, fuck, Dracula 6, Hot and Told.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that.
It just came to me.
I like that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a dumb movie. This is the sort of thing, and I know we use comparisons like this a lot, but this is the sort of thing that I would expect to see, like some random afternoon on, like USA or TNT or something like that.
Yeah, and this will be on there, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's vaguely non-threatening enough.
Yeah.
It's short as shit. Like, it's an hour and a half.
If that.
Yeah. So it's a quick sit. But, I mean, because of that, too, like, I can't really, like, it's stupid. I can say that all day, but it's not really, like, you can't really get mad at it, is my thing, is, like, it...
Because it didn't really reach any further than it needed to.
Yeah,
it didn't push any limits. Like, it wasn't like anybody gave such a fantastic performance that I felt they were wasted, but none of the acting was really bad.
Yeah,
like the directing wasn't bad. There was a few scenes of, like, motion movements and stuff that I'm like, come on, a good director wouldn't have him do that. But at the same time, like, the camera work was decent. Like, it was very gray, but it was a nice kind of gray.
I almost have to wonder, especially like with the whole controlling the bats scene, if they were trying to go with like
he controls all the bats in Transylvania.
Like if they were going for like him like working his hands thing, the way that like because that was one of the big things I really liked about Bela Lugosi's performance was like his hand acting. But yeah, it's as a whole, it's just like the actual movie is. It's non-threatening. Yeah. Like, if you end up like if you end up getting dragged to it, or like your significant other wants to go see it, it's not to the point where you're gonna feel like you've wasted money. It's just to the point like you'll feel like you've watched a movie that you could have just as easily waited a couple months and watched on video, or not watched at all. Like, it really... You're not even missing anything to rage at if you don't see this movie. Yeah, it's not going to change your life. You watch it, cool. You don't, cool. You watch it fucking 5 months from now, cool. Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's nothing that is going to rewrite how you think about the character Dracula. I mean, it's... No. Like sometimes, like, you get, like, a performance, like for Frankenstein. The benchmark for me is the Kenneth Branagh, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Which is not a good movie. It's not. But De Niro's fucking amazing. But as like a Frankenstein movie, it's really, really fun. Oh, I really like it. Plus, I mean, it kept as close to the books as you can. Yeah. But yeah, I found that to be a fantastic movie based off of every other Frankenstein movie I've seen. Whether it's the Hammer horror like ones or the Universal or fucking Abbott and Costello meets, or even like the other ones like what was that one, like late 80s early 90s Frankenstein Unbound or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Or the Jet Li movie Unleashed, which I still say is fucking Frankenstein.
Oh,
But yeah,
the timer's going off.
Eggs are done. But yeah, watch it or don't.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't. It's a nothing. You know, if you want to kill an hour and a half, do what I did today. Get on Netflix, queue up American the Bill Hicks Story. It was a good documentary. Watch that instead.
Yeah, I mean, I am literally just about to head home, and I'm going to watch Cloverfield. Again, not a great movie, but it's the movie I had picked for today. Today's Monster Movie Day.
Well, why didn't you just use this?
Because I didn't know until yesterday I was going to go see this.
Yeah, good point.
I made up that list like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, no, this was... We sat in a theater for an hour and a half, and we watched something, but...
Yeah.
Like, just not happy about it, and not furious at it. Like, at least they tried to do something original, I guess.
Yeah.
But it just, they tried to do something original with Dracula, but everything in the movie was pulled from something else. It's just one of those things.
Well, it's a tale that's been told this many times. It's hard to tell it a new way and not have it, like, smack of something else.
Well, see, and that's my theory or my opinion, when they're redoing all these monster movies, you don't have to tell it in a new way. You just have to tell it well.
Yeah.
It's like
just tell it better than it's been told before.
Like the remake of the Wolfman.
The remake of that movie with Marv Wolfman.
Yeah. From a couple years ago with Benicio del Toro. While that wasn't a great movie, I think what made it really work was it was a Universal monster movie. It really was. They just had slightly better effects, and I think if they hadn't had all the production problems they had with that movie, it would have been great.
That and Benicio del Toro is actually a werewolf.
Yo, fuck yeah. He is.
Just look it up.
Fucking disprove it. Disprove it, motherfuckers.
I'm gonna go add this to Wikipedia right now.
Benicio, notable werewolves: Benicio del Toro, Jared,
Richard Nixon.
Oh God, Nixon's a werewolf.
Brad will be out here in a minute to talk about The Judge or something.
The Judge.
Back to talk about judging Amy.
I hope so.